What is going on? What is going on, everyone? Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. I'm your maestro, Daniel Tadamy, and joined with me, as always, is serial entrepreneur himself, Mr. Paul Renee Jr. Paul, what is going on? I think we lost Paul, ladies and gentlemen. I think we lost Paul. Let me see if I can get him back. All right. We apologize for the delay. We're here to get back to it. We got Paul Renee back into the stream. So we thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Beyond the Hustle. I'm your MC, Daniel Tadamy, and joined with me, as always, is serial entrepreneur himself, Mr. Paul Renee Jr. What is going on? What is going on, Paul? Welcome back to the show. Can we hear you? Did I miss you? Try to unmute yourself, Paul. Can you unmute? Can you unmute yourself? You gotta unmute yourself from the green room. It says guest muted himself. Still, you can't unmute yourself. Let me see now. Wait. Yeah, it says you're still muted. That's how it is with this show stuff, people. I apologize about that. We're going to get this fixed up, though. If you call back in, Paul should unmute you. But if you're joining me, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, since we're supposed to have the Rapture today. So if you're watching this stream, I appreciate you for tuning in. And it seems like, we didn't get raptured away. If you're able to tune in, can you hear me? Can we hear you now, Paul?
I hear you, brother. I hear you loud and clear. What's going on, chat? How you doing? Beyond the Hustle chat. What's up with you, MC? What's going
Oh
on with you?
man, dude. It's the nature of the game with this stuff, man. And we're doing it live, so we appreciate y'all for bearing with us as we get this technology stuff together. But what's been
Feels
going on,
good to be
Paul?
back though.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
right,
man,
right, right.
recovering. Had a good week of rest.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing. I'm very, very grateful to be able to have that opportunity to just say, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop everything, chill, regroup, get myself together, because our health is the real wealth, right? And
Yeah.
um, we run hard, man. We run hard at what we do, man, to provide for our families, to live the life that we want to live. And sometimes, it catches up to us, man. Our body breaks down, gets burnt out, tells us that we need to chill,
Yeah.
and that's what. And it's, and to be
Oh, I think we lost him again, guys. And the crazy thing about it is that it was storming over here like crazy. It was storming like really, really, really bad. So I don't know if where he's at, if he's been affected by the storm, if his internet, if his connection has been being affected by that storm. But um, it did go pretty bad. Um, so so what I will say to those that uh didn't make the rapture, that was posted. We're 4 hours past it, which is crazy. And it goes into line a little bit. Um, it goes into in line a little bit of what we kind of wanted to talk about today, which was, you know, doing business in spite of adversity. And it's crazy that that was the topic, and we're having these technical issues because, in spite of whatever is going on or whatever that it is that we're dealing with from time to time, you know, being accountable to yourself and to the people that you're attempting to serve, and showing up and persevering and pushing through in spite of, that's what kind of sets you apart from your peers, your counterparts. No matter what you're facing from time to time, that's kind of what sets you apart, because adversity, issues, and trials is going to hit everyone. No one is above it. you know no one can escape it. It's going to happen to you. You're going to have to deal with something. And to be able to still show up, and to be able to still be accountable to yourself and to those that you aim to serve, provide a product or service or anything to, you know, to be able to be accountable to them, even when they're not watching. Even when they're not watching. Last week, we took Tuesday off because Paul wasn't feeling well. So we took that off. Before that, we took off. Oh no, I think we did have the show. But the week before that, we took off, and I had to do some things. I was out of town. So here's Paul calling back in. I was out of town. So I had some things to deal with. So we didn't do the show. And I was behind on episode releasings. So I wanted to kind of catch up, snip the episodes, and be able to upload them. Um, and so we took that week off. What's going on, Paul? Welcome back. But
not much.
it's crazy
Thanks,
because I was
brother.
just
Thanks,
talking
brother.
about the fact that tonight we kind of wanted to talk about dealing with adversity, overcoming adversity in business. And it's crazy that that's the episode topic, and we're having these technical issues. And there was
For
a
real.
really bad storm. It hit, knocked, it kind of flickered my equipment and my gear and everything twice. Like my computer, everything shut down. It surged twice and shut everything down here. So I don't know if that's residuals from that, on my end, as well as I don't know if the storm affected you that like that. But what I was saying
Yeah,
was, no matter where you are, what it is that you're into, you're going to be faced with adversity. And what sets you apart is being able to show up and provide, be accountable to yourself or to the people that you're trying to serve, in spite of what you're dealing with, and still show up anyways and perform deliver a great product, deliver a great service in spite of all that. That's kind of what's going to set you out, because everyone is going to get hit with it. Everyone, your peers, people that you look up to, people that you may be chasing, everyone's going to get hit with it. And after the dust settles and the smoke clears, the people that are still able to perform and produce in spite of those situations, in spite of those adversities, that's who's really going to rise to the top, because it's going to hit everybody. No one's exempt from issues or problems, especially in business. I think we lost him a third time,
I
ladies and
agree with
gentlemen.
you, brother.
Oh, you still there?
Oh no, I'm here. I am here.
You was just
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
still.
I
I was
think my
like, did we
other
lose him?
Wi-Fi was. No, I
Oh
was in
nah.
deep thought. I'm listening to you, brother, and you're right. Being resilient is definitely a necessary character trait that's needed for you to be successful. Because yeah, you're gonna get obstacles thrown at you left and right, and the your ability to be able to handle that stress and those obstacles is going to be a direct correlation of how successful you will be able to become. If you're not able to handle that stress, and a lot of people, what ends up happening is they self project their own failures too, man. When
Mm,
they face these obstacles, one of the things that makes me, uh, grind my teeth is when I hear people talking negative about themselves, right? Because they're just self-projecting, man. They'll say something, and it'll be something simple, man, something that you probably aren't even aware of it. But I do believe that the words that we say, the words that we read, the words that we listen to,
mm,
and things that we say about ourselves does play an impact on our lives. And a lot of people, man, they shoot themselves in the foot. They say things like, oh man, bad things always happen to me, or
mm.
I'm unlucky, I'm an unlucky person, um man, i'm always I'm always having issues, or these things always happen to me, right? It's like
Yeah.
you calling that to existence for it to always happen. And I always and whenever I notice it, I always try to help and correct and be like, no, 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 not always. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through this. It doesn't happen all the time. I try to, I don't have time to be like, hey, listen, this is my philosophy in life, and what you're doing is projecting things yourself. But I'll try to emphasize, to let them know, like, look, I'm catching what you're throwing, right? And
Yeah.
maybe you shouldn't throw that out to yourself like that, because you get to determine the outcome of this movie that you're starring in, and you're already reading the script like your character is gonna be failing all the time, man.
Hmm.
You probably don't want that to happen. You probably want your character to have positive outcomes all the time. You probably want your character to be lucky, right?
Yeah.
I used to tell people that was my middle name too. I used to be like, yeah, my middle name's Lucky, right? Because every time I come into a situation, I'm gonna end up getting lucky. And whoa, lo and behold, I tend to have a lucky vibe, a lucky energy
Yeah.
that is, attached to, my way of being, my spirit. I'm
That's
always seeing that there is always going to be a positive outcome, right? So people have to speak that on themselves, man. And, as far as these technical issues, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, Daniel over here takes care of it. It's the maestro. He's the glue behind this and beyond the hustle, and he knows how to fix things. So I'm not worried about it one flick. So,
you
um,
you you
but yeah,
make it
last
work.
last week was crazy.
Yeah. You
Mm,
you you make it work because this is what I had to learn, and I learned this through, and I plugged this. I throw this down up a lot because that was a huge part of my learning when it comes to this production space.
right.
I learned a lot with the sit down, and the people that I've interviewed on the show, people that I talked to that I had on the show. It made me. I've always idled on the glass is half full. I think I've mentioned that on the show
Mm,
a lot of times. I idle on the glass is half full. It's never half empty, and that's all in perception, how you perceive a thing, how you perceive an issue or a problem, my worldview. So I had to learn that no one is above issues, adversities, problems, or even shortcomings, right? Things,
mm,
man, the amount of people that ran late. when I did the sit down. And I was like, these people run late. Yet when they get there, it's no problem. It's no issue. And then there was times when I ran late, and everyone had
Right.
understanding. And what I learned was, in the business space, in the entrepreneur space, in order for you to make it to a certain level, and if you're at a certain level, everyone knows that it's an unwritten understanding that things come up. But and so I had to learn that when something happened and when a guest called me, hey, maybe we got to cancel, maybe we got to reschedule. And I'm like, well, we don't have to cancel, reschedule. What's going on? Oh, I'm going to be like 30 minutes behind and I don't want to show up to your stuff late. And I'm like, oh, no, you could be 30 minutes late. That's fine. But that's what we projected. We projected a level of professionalism where people did not want to offend or mess up or anything. We would have people show up and they're like, man, I'm kind of, they're like, man, I'm intimidated by what y'all got going on. I knew I had to come correct. I knew I had to come. They're like, man, y'all just exude this, professionalism, this perfection. And I'm like, yeah, it's all right, and things happen. So when something would happen, I would never, oh my gosh. I'm like, nah, we're not going to respond that way. Things are going to come up. It's a part of the process. And so when you understand that adversity, trials, or issues or something, Oksana says that admin was on point. Yep, because that was her. She was on point. But whenever something comes up, it's just like anything else in the process. Where we plan to be here, you plan to show up. You don't want anything to happen, right? Yet you plan. And what I had to learn was buy 2 or 3 of almost everything. Because I forgot this in that car, forgot the bag that had that in it. Oh, but I bought 2 of them. So I had to learn that. So you start planning for those type of things, so you're able to navigate them. So, and you don't get frazzled. So when things are acting up, even tonight, we don't get frazzled. Boom, we just cut the scene to something else and we keep going. You don't wear that issue. And when you know that, I had to learn that, man, when something come up, it's just like a little speed bump. We don't even react to it. You know what I'm saying? We just keep
Right.
moving in spite
We're
of.
just built different. We're built
Yeah.
different, Daniel. That's
Yeah.
why, man. Right?
You just keep it moving. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it has to get done. Now, either you're going to do it or you're going to get moved out the way for somebody else to do it. But that lane is going to get occupied, So is it going to be you that occupies that lane, or is you going to allow it to be somebody else? That's the way I look at it.
Most definitely. I had something I wanted to talk to you about. Fame. Is it worth it? Is fame worth it? Right? Taking a look at what's going on in recent events, right? Not just current events, but things that happen within the course of several months, even to a year or so, or however far you want to go back, right? The price of fame. I think it's a personal right answer, and I just wanted to know yours. Right? Is it worth it? Is fame really worth it as it pertains to you?
Ooh, that's a loaded question, Paul.
Yeah,
that's a loaded question because it is personal. I will say each person may have a different answer because it's personal. But this is the way I would go about answering that question. I would have to ask, whether it's myself or an individual, I would say, what are you trying to get? What are you trying to get out of life? Right? What do you want? What do you want out of life? And is fame necessary for you to get that based off of your packaging and your skill set? Because you got some people who are able to attain the same goal Will Smith has, yet they don't possess the packaging and the skill set to get it through fame. And Will Smith does not possess what they have to get it without fame. Right? So maybe I'm going too deep into the answering of this question to psychology.
Is what you're saying in reference to like a dollar amount? Like, is that what you mean?
I'm saying
like
whatever
Will
whatever
Smith
person
doesn't
wants.
have. Mhm.
Whatever his goal was, whatever he wanted out of life, if he wanted to change his stars, if he wanted to financially be able to provide for his family, if he wanted to become a millionaire, he probably could. He was rapping before, so
Mhm.
he probably wanted to. Since he saw what other people, whatever his goal was. Yeah, at the same time, Will Smith is also he's also an educated individual. Yeah, he might not possess the skill sets to be able to capitalize off of what the education was. The man just is just blessed with that, or you could say curse with his charm, which helps and hurts him within his craft too. That's why I think that he'll never. He finally won that Oscar, but he's chasing it for so long. But anyways, um, that's what I think. So personally, to me, I think that with all I've learned and acquired over my time on this earth and my skill set and my ability, it just aligns so much with fame. And I ran from fame so much. I strove to be the guy behind the scenes, like where I would like diminish my light, even when it came to me doing certain things within like the religious spectrum, church and preaching and things of that nature. I always stayed in the background because I did not
Yeah.
want fame. I did not want to be the guy in the front. Um, and then everything, people around me, people I supported, all that type of stuff just started moving away. And it was like, if you want what you want out of life, you're going to have to move to the front, because based off of who you are and your skill set, you don't get that no other way. And that's where I think you can kind of go into the predestination, or if you want to have the God conversation. Um, but as for me, I don't I don't see it no other way, bro. For me, is it worth it?
So
I'll
you
probably have
embrace it
to
then.
answer.
You
At this point, I do. Before I
yeah,
didn't.
you want
I,
it and you want the fame and you want to embrace it. Okay, I get
I
it.
don't see. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's a tough
I don't.
question,
I don't.
right?
I don't want the fame. I want what I want. It's just in order to get it, I have to walk that path of fame. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Because
It does. In
maybe
order.
there's another way.
Mhm.
I don't do nothing with my hands, bro. I did the electrical thing. I did the construction thing. I did the jobs. I've moved around. I've been in these positions of leadership at companies. It doesn't come that way. For me, I can't speak for nobody else's path. As for my path, because it always led to the same, I always got to the same door, Paul. It was always the same door. Every path I took, it led me back to, boy, you're gonna have to get in front of this world.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get in front of that camera.
Yeah.
Every path, bro, it always pointed me back to being in front of that camera. So Oksana said, "Yeah, I want the results of it. I don't want no fame. I want the give me the influence and the brand deals and the money. I don't want the fame yet.
Yeah, that comes with the fame. That
It
comes with the
comes with
fame. That comes.
it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Why? Where's
I've
that for
never
you?
wanted the
Because now
fame.
you're in front of the camera
Yeah.
now.
Still, I'm not chasing the fame. I've never wanted the fame. I'm good without it, right? If you know, if I get notoriety for the things that I'm doing, especially on the podcast and on the camera, I'll take it. Um, I just, to what extent do I want it to go to, right? Is the thing.
That's true.
Do I want to be world renowned where everyone knows me everywhere I go? And, dude, I don't even like having to go to Publix and bumping into some of my clients that I know, right? Because I don't even like that. Don't get me wrong, though. I like the ego part of it, of the recognition. I've had a couple of times where people that I've known, I know have recognize that what we're doing here on the podcast, and they giving me a shout out about it, and put a smile on my face. Yeah, I was already
Yeah.
in a good mood to receive that type of energy anyway. But then it's like there's days, man, where I just want to walk around with my slides and go to the Publix and pick up some groceries and just be out, right? But then can you imagine? I imagine like how it is if I was famous. I wouldn't be able to move like I move right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, as low key. I like the low key life. I've always wanted to be the guy behind the scenes. Um, because I do believe and do know that I can acquire, the wealth, everything that comes along with the fame without having to be famous, right?
Yeah.
It is attainable, because when you really look at it at a big scheme of things, all you really do need, as far as like customer wise, is just a small fraction of people, right? And with that small fraction, you can blossom, and become wealthy. Um, but again, it might not equal the amount of wealth that I could accumulate if I had, like, the whole East Coast or West Coast or nation, at my attention.
Yeah.
But I'm very content. I'm sort of a minimalist type of a person anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it doesn't take much to please me, but I do like, the private life that I live. I do like being able to say whatever I want to say, especially on this platform, and not have to worry
Yeah.
about, being put on blast because of my beliefs or my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Because with that fame comes that great, not just responsibility, but that magnification of your thoughts and your ideas, and it's put on blast for people to dissect, and you're in the
Yeah.
public spectrum now, right? And so, yeah,
Yeah.
you got to deal with it, and I might offend someone by what I say, right? And who knows, like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine, my family or me or someone that I love gets hurt because of me voicing my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you wonder, like, is that fame really worth it? Because it's a sad time to see that, people can be not only, you know uh canceled, um financially ruined,
Yep.
uh or even unalived based on their opinion. I can go through the names from, you know people who are influencers, on social media, getting jailed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, having to fight court cases, which, have makes them have to spend, uh, millions of dollars just
Mm-hmm.
to fight and clear their name, even though the lawsuits are frivolous, you know but they just put you through that ringer because they know what it's going to do to you. You get what it's going to defame your character,
Yeah.
defame your reputation, right? Where if you were that type of person to have built a foundation off of fame now, and you ruffle the wrong feathers, you expose a group that didn't want to be exposed or talk about. Now there goes your livelihood, because they could just go
Yeah.
ahead and cancel it, cut it off, because that's what you relied on. You relied on that, in order to make, money and make ends meet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, and they can use that as a tactic against you, right? By canceling you, and demonetizing you, right? There's so many people that were on social media platforms. We were, on TikTok and got banned. And now imagine if that was our livelihood right there, right?
Yeah.
There's some people
Yeah.
that this is their livelihood,
It
you
is.
know? So, yeah, I think moving forward, personally, my personal opinion, and, people could take it with a grain of salt. I think people should look into ways to, create what fame could give you without
Yeah.
having to rely on fame, because everything that glitters isn't gold. It's not uh, a road that people can survive on, having to walk if they search for it. And then it's like, in order to maintain that, right, what do you
Mm-hmm.
have to compromise, right? In order to receive that funding, what do you have to compromise in order for, if we had ads up here from all these big donors and sponsors, and they're like, yeah, in order for you guys to be able to, receive this sponsorship, you guys are going to have to compromise. Instead of being called Beyond the Hustle, you're going to have to call it The Hustle Isn't Real or something, or whatever the case might be. We have to change. we have to change who we are,
Yeah.
and Daniel has to dye his hair blonde now, right, in order for it to work.
Let's see.
You
I
know what
would
I'm
dye
saying?
my hair
Like,
blonde. I wouldn't care about that. I,
yeah,
I, I think
I'm
I
just
think that
saying.
no. It's see, and it depends. It
Uh,
depends on the brand and what they have you do. Right. If it has something to do with my
right.
morality or my mental, heck no. But I think it's like this, right? You don't,
Yeah.
and that's why I said it depends on the person, right? Because everything has to be done responsibly, right, and in moderation. So fame should not be a person's everything, and that's what a lot of these athletes and entertainers got in trouble. That's why a lot of them were
Mhm.
broke, because their livelihoods were attached to their notoriety. See, you can't, you
Correct.
should not attach your livelihood, your future, the future of your family, your children's, your legacy. It should not be attached to your notoriety. You should be able to lose your notoriety and still maintain. That's what leverage is all about. Because with fame, it's fleeting. It's not going to be there forever, right? You're going to be too old. You're going to be outdated. People might not like you. Now, you have legendary, individuals. Will Smith has transcended that. Shaq has found a way to transcend that as well. Denzel has transcended, to where generationally, you know what I'm saying? They have not faded
Yeah.
out. A lot of people, when you know, the cast of A Different World, when that show was canceled, I just seen something about one of the ladies that was acting in. I forget. I guess I'm not black enough because I don't know their names of everyone in A Different World. But when that show ended, those actors thought they were just gonna, people was lined up ready to get them because how big The Different World
Mhm.
is. But she said, one of the ladies, she said when the show ended, she said the phone didn't ring. I was running out of money. I was low. There was no opportunities. And she said one of her friends ended up reaching out to her and blessing her with an opportunity on the show. She said, but nobody wanted us after A Different World. So during that time, when you start getting your 15 minutes, and I'm not saying that they did this, but I'm just saying when your 15 minutes of fame start, at that point, you should be looking for what's next. And some people get lost in that climb, right? I'll set this up next later. I'll set this up next week. I'll set this. And then next thing you know, your 15 minutes is up.
Mhm.
And you didn't establish anything to take you, you know? So I think it's how you set it up. I don't bank everything. For me, that's not what I bank everything on. There's still things that I do. However, for me, and being in spaces like this, I want to spark the conversations. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to trigger anybody, get anybody upset. However, I do know that speaking truth is always going to be controversial, no matter what it is. You can speak true
Of
about
course.
school system. You can speak true about parenting. Parenting is divisive, bro. Everything is divisive. So, with that being said, I've come to the grips. I've come to the realization that if everything is divisive, then we just gonna divide. I don't know. That's just the way I take it. If everything is gonna offend
You-
everybody, then I'm just gonna
Yeah.
offend everybody. Then it's not that you don't
Yeah,
try
man.
to,
I've
but I don't want to have a show where I can't speak. I don't want to have a platform or a camera in front of me and I can't say what I gotta say. I'd rather just
right.
not
Can't
say
be
it.
real. Can't be
If
authentic.
if I
Can't
can't,
be
bro,
authentic. Right.
if I, bro, and that's the reason why I said every time I tried to do all these other things, it kept coming to the space of you got to get in front of the camera, bro, because they're not gonna say it like you, they're not gonna do it like you, they're not gonna talk like you, they're not gonna try to help the way you're trying to. I ain't trying to be divisive on nobody. I just want to add different schools of thought, strands of thought. Is that okay? And if that's not to say, if that can't do it, if I'm a ruffle feathers paw, I'm just gonna be a feather ruffler.
Well, some people are meant to be in front of the camera, like you are meant to be in front of the camera. Before we even had this idea of the show, I always wanted to be, working with you on a podcast because I knew I could learn from you and grow because you were already doing it. You were pioneering it before, I even had the thoughts about it. So, yeah, you're a natural in front of the camera,
I
and that's
appreciate it.
probably something that you've seen from yourself being in the music industry and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that too as well. Um, people like, but me, I'm not the camera guy. I'm not the in front of the camera
You
guy. I'm
doing it
not.
though, bro.
I like being. I like. Yeah, I know. It's something that is. Wow. It's something that is something. I'm a resilient person. I'm moving with the times. I'm just being a part of the trend of what's going on, and jumping
Yeah.
into the sphere of it and reaching out to demographics that I'm not normally touching. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm not telling you that it's my love or passion or whatever. I can gladly sit in the background as long as it's the same effects, right? That's occurring. I'm fine. I'm straight up about it. I've always been
Yeah.
that way. Even in the music, when I had my music business, I found more joy getting other artists out than having to deal with a project that I was working on or whatever.
Yeah.
Because either way, I was going to benefit. If my artist's benefiting, I'm benefiting, right? So,
Yep.
um, yeah, I don't mind. I like being the guy behind the scenes, to be real. Um, but sometimes people have to see your face too. So
And
I don't mind that. Uh,
I think a huge one for me at the same time, because I had my own projects and stuff like that. And when I was doing music, a motivator, a, a motivator for really pushing me out in front of the camera was, it was just tough to find people to work with. It was just tough to find people to
mhm.
match my grind, match my hustle, match my energy. It was just tough. People had life going on, and I get it. And life does happen. I, I'm of the mindset where it's just like, I don't care that life is happening. If I have to get this done, I'm gonna get this done, bro.
Right,
There are times where, especially now, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk thing, and me leveraging and me finding ways and searching for ways to leverage, this next tick of social media push that they've given me through the content, bro. I'm like, yeah, I'm tired, but I'm gonna record this video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta go to sleep. I'm gonna
yeah,
record this video, and then I'm gonna lay in bed and I'm gonna edit. So it was tough for me to find people that could match that, and it was tough for me to find people to record me, and that's why I was buying things where I could record myself, because it was tough to find people to
right,
match that. And so I'm like, well, since I can't find anybody to point this camera, I'm just gonna point it at myself, because I was going in a producer role. I was striving to be in a director role and all these type of stuff.
right,
But it was
right,
tough for me to find people to point the camera at, and for people to match my same goal. You know what I'm saying? And no, and it's no knock to nobody in particularly. It was just I didn't have time for that, man. And there are things I wanted to get out now, so I was just like, you know what? You got to point the camera at yourself, bro. I started a podcast before me did this. It just didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but it was
oh,
through me
okay.
doing that where it was called Intellectual Idiot. Y'all don't take that, because I may still do something with that.
Yeah, yeah, it might come back.
It was
Intellectual
called
idiot. What an
Intellectual Idiot,
oxymoron.
bro. Right. So
Yeah.
I did that, and it was just me talking to a camera. And I said, for me, that was boring to me. I don't have that. I can't do that. I need to be speaking to a person. Now,
Mhm.
when I'm streaming, that's different, because the game is there and all that type of stuff. But when I was doing it, the podcast, it just didn't work. I can't sit and monologue for 40
No.
minutes, bro.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't know about the streaming for me, but the podcast, this stuff is fun for me. I like it.
yeah,
It's kind of like art to me, right? Just
yeah.
being able to talk to you about these topics and have guests and hear what their story is. You know, it has some type of satisfaction when it comes to that. Being able to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
That that's a good a good positive out of it. So yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to doing the podcast every
Yeah.
week and being able to talk to Chad and seeing what comes out of the topics that we discuss. So it's grown on me, man, to be real.
Yeah.
And I know we have a lot more in store for our chat here in the future. and they're gonna love to see the outcome of that. One of the questions, man, that had me kind of shaken in a little bit, right? In light of all the turmoil that's going on, a lot of conspiracy theories going on, a lot of distrust of the government. Um, I don't know where I think I bounced off, but a lot of division going on, a lot of distrust of the government. It had me wondering, man, all of this division that's going on all around the world. It's just division after division, left wing, right wing, conservative, liberal, the races, different countries, all this stuff, man. Division, 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 right? Is division, like, is there any hope, I should say, for unity amongst us, amongst our species? Is there any hope? Is there any, um, can you see, you know, in the future ahead of us that there's going to be more unity than division, or is division a necessary course of life that we have to have in order to thrive as a society?
Okay, two parts, man. Two parts. It's always two parts because
It's
the
a two
class
part
is hard.
question. It's a two
It's
part
it's
question.
and there's always a two-part answer because I'm a glasses half full type of person, man. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
yeah, man. It could be my childlike optimism, bro. I just and it could be my need and my desire to see the good in every situation, but it's not every situation because I definitely don't see the good in every situation. Um, I try to look
Hmm.
for the good in most situations, right? Um, Oksana says, getting ridiculous out here. It is. People just need to learn how to
It
disagree
is.
respectfully. Facts. It's two parts. So, okay, so you've watched the shows. We've watched these movies and shows where the enemy, there's an enemy in the show. There's the protagonist and the antagonist, right? And
Hmm.
oftentimes, sometimes in some movies or shows, those two come together to fight a larger enemy, right?
Right.
And then they somehow sometimes they build friendships for that stalemate and they go by their separate ways, or they may end up clashing and fighting each other, but for a moment they came together. If you are the enemy, the larger threat, you don't want to reveal yourself. You want to keep them two fighting so you keep benefiting from them, because
Mm.
individually you can beat them,
Ouch.
you can't beat them together. So I think people have to understand that, right? That it's not a benefit for us when we're fighting and going at each other. And I think we just lost ourselves. Did I just lose everyone? I think I froze. Oh, we just lost Paul. We lost Paul. I do want to continue in that vein, right? So I do think that people, I don't really too much care for this shot because I'm cut off. I don't like that shot of me being cut off. But let me just continue saying this, right? And then I'm pretty sure Paul will find his way back on into the show. I will say this: it benefits the greater antagonists to keep the lower antagonists and protagonists in the story fight against each other. So let's just look at America, right? Let's just look at our nation. It benefits those individuals. Uh, Paul came back. Let's see. There you go. All right. So what I was saying was this, right? Let's just take
Mhm.
America, right? Or we could take the whole entire world. It benefits those or the individual further at the top to keep the lower tiers fighting, because if the lower tiers ever unified, then you can take out the larger threat, right? So it benefits the higher tier to keep the lower tiers fighting amongst each other. Because if they're fighting amongst each other, they will never fight against us, right? So it
Right.
benefits them in that capacity. And the individuals fighting each other needs to just stop. Like, you don't have to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You don't have to fall for that. You can go back there and be like, oh, there's a banana. I'm not driving that car. You don't, because quite honestly, they're not doing a great job at keeping us fighting. Let's just be honest. That they're not pulling the wool over our
Right.
eyes, right? The tactic is pretty much blatant and in your face if you want to look for it. So I'll say that. However, so division works for them. Division is not great for those that are having the trick played on them. Um, do I think that it will get better over time? I believe it already started getting better over time. That's the reason why there's been a push even harder at division, because there's the exception and there's the rule, right? And we make decisions. We talked about that before, based off of the rule and never off of the exception. The rule is, you know, we're not divided. The exception is you have people that thrive in this division. Majority of people don't want to do that, bro. That's why social media has been a push on division. It's already started to deteriorate,
Mhm.
and we can't let that happen, right? So every time you think that it's gonna get a little better, then they throw a little rent monkey in the system to make you think that it's that bad, bro. It ain't really that bad out here in these streets, man. We walk them
Mhm.
every single
It's
day.
not. It's
It ain't
not.
that bad. Social media
That
just plays and make people think it's that bad, and it's really not.
right.
So
Yeah, the
I think
metaverse
it's
is a
already,
different
man.
world.
It's a different, bro. The social media streets is not the real streets, and people keep falling for that. Like, I had a. I don't want to get too much into it because I was supposed to talk about the rapture, and then we supposed to get to these reactions. But I guess it segues to the rapture, right?
Nah, but I threw it. Yeah, I threw that in there. No, here's the reason why I threw that in there about division, because uh, in light of all of the division, and I'm not sure if the cameras, if you can see me or not, because I'm like frozen on my
Oh no, no,
screen.
no! I see you
Am
moving
I
over here.
frozen on yours?
Nah.
All right, perfect. Right. So I thought about it. I'm like, man, because I had time to think, basically getting rid of this cold or whatnot. So I'm in bed just thinking, I'm like, all this division that I'm seeing in the world, is it supposed to be like this? Where did it come from? And I just started thinking, where has it been documented to that original original source of division amongst humanity? Where did it start? Where people just started dividing, from each other and just getting into their own groups and their own tribes and their own way of thought, and you know, because I'm thinking, right, at one time humanity must have been in unison. There must have been some type of unity at one time,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
There was.
and with right, and with my thought process, it's like I can imagine if everyone came together. It's like the prison system, okay, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh if you get locked in prison, you're gonna have to um find that group that you associate, whether it's race or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um and be a part of that group for survival,
For
right?
survival.
Because it's engineered that way. They want the prisoners to be separated because they're easier to control that way,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You have thousands of prisoners in a location, and only a handful of guards to control these prisoners. So imagine if all these prisoners were on one accord, right? They'll overthrow that prison.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to keep things in control, to keep a balance, you have to separate them in groups,
Yep.
right? And have these groups fight amongst each other, uh, and then have the little handful of the elites, the guards,
Mm-hmm.
who are able to set the rules and control the environment and control the magnitude of people that's in that confinement. And I was like, man, because can you imagine if everyone in that prison just united and got together? You know, the Mexicans, the whites, the blacks. They were, instead of having them separated,
Yeah.
right? They just integrated everybody. You know, you're in a cell with a white guy. You're in a cell with a Mexican guy. Everyone's together, right? And everybody's working together. They'll overthrow that prison,
In a
and it
heartbeat.
made me think about, you know, yeah, it made me think about that the Tower of Babel,
Yeah, I was gonna go there.
right?
Yeah.
Where at one time, yeah, at one time humanity was on the same accord.
Yep.
Humanity was on the same page, and it was so magnificent. They built the tower that reached to the sky because they felt like, yeah, we can reach God.
We
We
about
can
to
reach
make
the
it God.
heavens,
Yeah. And
right?
then
And then, yeah, you know what happened, right? You
no,
know
go
the
ahead, go
rest. You
ahead,
know the
go ahead.
story.
Go ahead.
Yeah, God said, "No, I'm not down with that." Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and confuse the language and divide the masses,
Yeah.
right? Because at one time everybody spoke one language.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was easier for everyone to get along, everyone to
Mm-hmm.
unite, and then it was like, "Nah, I'm not having it. We can't have it that way."
So
Because if we have everybody unite, the sky's the limit.
here's a bigger question, right? Here's a bigger question. What's more poetic? Being able to come together when it makes sense, when it's easy because we all speak the same language, we all look the same. What's more poetic? To come together with that,
Mm.
or the fact that we do look different? We do sound different. We talk different. We speak different. Yet we're able to unify. What makes for a better ending? So I think the beauty
Yeah, I see your point. I do see that. Yeah,
of
it is
unity
beautiful to
at
overcome
this
that.
juncture is that we're able to disagree or not even agree. We don't. We're not symmetrical in any in on so many levels. Yet we're still able to find unity in it, and that's why I go as hard as I go on the black community. That's personally my
Mhm.
community, and I see a lot of. I don't. I want to say this. I want to say it properly. I want to be able to articulate what I'm thinking properly. Right. I don't. I don't want to use the language I'm thinking about. I want to use a
No,
different
you
language.
articulate very well, bro.
I.
So go
I.
ahead, do your thing.
So I don't want. I because at this okay we seen what slavery and racism in our country has done, and at this juncture to me, it just appears like there's a lot of a lot of black people that are like, they did that to us in the past. I'm just trying to get my get back. And my thing to them is like, no white person living today owns slaves. Not a single one. It's not a single white person today that owns slaves, right? We're not saying that it didn't
Mhm.
exist. What I'm saying is, you're no better if you're going to demonize them and take it out on the white person that you see today. That's just not fair. Now we're not going to say that things don't happen, right? I do understand things happen in a vacuum, and that's fine. You can address those as they come up. However, I don't want black people walking around with the mentality of, your ancestors did that, I'm gonna do this. Because who you really angry at, in my opinion? Who you really mad at? And I was talking on the phone and I was telling my couple of my friends the other day, yesterday I was talking to them and I said, it almost feels like black people don't want to change their mind to white people. They don't want to see unity there. They don't want to improve their outlook on cops or on police. You guys don't want to see them as in a positive light. In my opinion, you fighting so hard to hold on to something so that happened to our ancestors. You want to hold on to that and walk around with that. And I'm like, you don't want to give
Mhm.
them an opportunity to look at. And so I'm not saying that's for all black people. I'm just saying for what I'm seeing on social media, and when I talk to some black people now, I'm not gonna lie. I've been talking to some of my black friends, and I've been seeing some tremendous progress in them. And so hats off to that. And that's why That's why I talk the way I talk, bro. Because I'm like, bro, we got to find a way to unify. And this is not just black and white. That's probably where we start. Then we can start doing other things, but we got to find more ways to unify than divide, bro. And that's sort of my fight. That's why I
Right.
bring up new narratives at the same time. So
I don't
it's
think
crazy,
it's
bro.
a well. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, there's a certain demographics of people that, like you saying, that want to blame. I guess blacks want to blame whites because of slavery and stuff. Majority of those type of people are just looking for someone to blame for their own downfalls, though, right?
Yeah,
Because they think that there's some type of mystical power that these people have that's limiting my success
man,
based
these
off
black
of what
celebrities be
happened,
saying it, bro.
hundreds of years ago.
These black entertainers
Yeah,
be online
but
and on their podcast spitting it, and I'm like, bro, you spitting this, and you're a multi-millionaire. And I'm not saying you ain't have to go through your
right.
trouble and you don't have to see it. And I'm pretty sure you get called some pretty nasty things in your inboxes. I'm pretty sure I know it. I know you get called some stuff. Yeah,
Right.
I've been called nigger on group chat on COD. So I can only imagine, and them people don't even know me. They just being racist on 2K and all that
Mhm.
type of stuff. I can imagine what you get on your inbox. So I'm not saying that. So, but at the same
A lot
time,
of
they
these
be spouting
celebrities
that,
have a
bro.
following that they're trying to they have a
That's my
following that they're
point
trying to
too.
appeal to, though,
That's
right?
my
So
point, bro. That's my
I don't
point.
think that really
They
falls
don't
into
care.
what they're really saying.
Right.
Yeah, they're not
They're just a
they're
part
saying
of
what they
they're
have
just
to
part
say
of the
to appease
divide.
their
Yeah.
fan. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but majority of the people who really do believe that are people who are looking for someone to blame, and it goes for any type of race, to be real. So that's why I'm saying that I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think it has to do with the person
Mm-hmm.
and them looking for something, uh, someone to put that blame on to why they're not as successful as they want to be,
Yeah.
um, or they could be. There's that power above them. They're giving the power to somebody else. They're giving the power to, the cops. They're giving the power to the government,
Yeah.
right? They're giving the power to a race. Because when you look and follow, the history behind majority of their arguments, then you're going to be really blaming your own people at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? When you really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really that other race. It's probably your own people, that contributed to the slavery or whatever
Man,
the
see,
case might
see,
be.
you about to get us in trouble because they
So
don't research, bro. That's why they can bash. They don't
no, no, they don't.
research.
They don't.
um,
But it's okay. It's okay.
yeah, yeah.
I just do think that that unity seems to be hard to achieve, especially in today's age.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just in the metaverse that I'm seeing that, right? Because
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
don't see that in real life. I
It's
really
not.
don't.
No.
Especially with this new generation that's here, right? They have more of a unity than I've seen, when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like my kids and even the ones a couple of years younger than me, like your generation
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. There's unity. There's a lot more unity than what's being perceived, out there in the world and what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah.
um but
There's a
I
lot more
think you're right
desire
too, and you
to
nailed it
unify.
on the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's kind of like that that uncle that you had, right? That was always bashing or that was racist, and didn't like white people was their problem for everything, right? Couldn't get a job because of white people. He's not teaching that to his kids.
No,
You get what
he
I'm
ain't around
saying?
his
He
kids.
wants his kids to be able to fit in. Well, I'm just saying, he's having that conversation between me and you, but he doesn't want his kids to hear it. So his kids are growing up
Mm,
with the unity. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's true. Yeah.
Um, loving people and then seeing it's so throughout as the years go by, it's a totally different, story. They're not even seeing the kids are not seeing that. You get what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
true. Yeah.
So they're able to grow together and being raised together. I know for when I grew up, I didn't see it. I had friends of different ethnicities and different races, even still to today.
Yeah.
Um, because regardless of how, if my parents weren't like that, they never blamed any type of race. Again, maybe it's a cultural difference because of my Haitian culture,
Hmm.
but they never blamed anyone uh, from stopping them from getting what they wanted out of life, right? And never taught me to. It was always my responsibility. It was always me being accountable, and me being able to shape the world that I want to live in, right? I'm the actor in my own movie, and I get to
Yeah.
play it out the way that I want to, and um, so I guess a lot of it has to do with how a person was raised or whatnot. But
Huge component to
that's just
how a
something I
person was
wanted to
raised.
talk.
I wanted to
Yeah,
I wanted to
right.
ask you I wanted to ask you something because uh we're gonna get to the react to the videos. I got how many I got? One, two, three. I got
Okay,
four. We're gonna try to get through all four of them. But
let's
I did
do
want to
it.
ask you this because you brought up your Haitian background, and I'm a fan, a lover of food from different cultures, bro.
Oh yeah,
So so
yeah. You got
I
to check
definitely
out Bon Appetit right there on Kirkman. All right, it's one of the best, one of the best Haitian restaurants out there in Orlando. Bon
what should I
Appetit
get?
on Kirkman. Tell them Paul sent you. Anything is great. I like getting the snapper, fried snapper. You gotta wait a
Fried
little bit
snapper. Okay.
for it. Probably a good 15 minutes, but you got the G blunt, which is white rice and some sauce pois, some gravy on there, right? Or you got the G Collet, the brown rice and beans, that come along with it. But you got your, authentic jerk chicken, curry chicken. We got our bouillon soup. Uh,
See, when he's talking about the food, that's when he goes away. Dang. Bon appetit on Kirkman. So I definitely gotta try that out. But I do want to get into these reaction videos. I'm gonna see Paul comes back because I want to get into the reaction videos. But this is what I wanted to talk about according to the rapture. I don't like this shot, and I'm trying to back up so I can fix it, right? Because I don't like that. It's cut my head off. So we're gonna back up. But so here it is. The rapture was supposed to happen. Don't know where it came from. Don't know who started it. I don't know what prophet, preacher prophesied the rapture. But I was talking about this with Paul before we got on the show. And I said, a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people really like want to like kill themselves or be done, right? But what I will say is living life and being in this world and how messed up it really is. A lot of people are just down to be done with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say that people are want to kill themselves or take their own lives. I won't say that. I will though, however, say that if something was to take place and it was gonna be like, yo, we're gonna just take these people out, a lot of people will just accept it and be gone. And I think that that's what makes these prophecies of Christ coming back and the sky cracking or prophecies of the antichrist or any of these end time prophecies. I think what make them, I was telling them, Paul, about what me and you were talking about offline before we got on the show, and how people just have like this escapism, mentality. Not that they want to kill themselves, but if there is something that can get them out of this, they would gladly take it. I'm not gonna lie. And I think that's why a lot of people, will so easily throw their lives away. And I'll throw myself in that category too, because when I had the opportunity to go work in an active hostile war zone, in Afghanistan, I wasn't worried about it, bro. We're getting incoming. You know about it, bro. We're over there, and I'm talking about. I'm not on a big base. My tent was literally where the Hescos were at. Where like, my tent, and then the line, and then we're getting bombed and shots coming in, bro. I just took it like our base getting hit, like our base got hit, DFAT got hit, like, bro, there was explosions on the base, and I'm just like, and I think that's why people do things like that, because deep down, I think a lot just don't want to be here, Paul. And I just think they're done with it. And I think that's why prophecies, these end time prophecies, and the world being the great reset, and us going back to the old times, to where, I think people really want that like it's a movie, but it's not a movie. And I think there's a lot of people that don't really understand the impact and the detriment that a great reset will have, bro. I quite honestly, I believe that, I think that if we did see a great reset and we was like Book of Eli times, half of the world's population, bro, is gone. And I'm not talking about like great violence. I'm talking about injuries, starvation, sickness, just natural causes. I think half the population is just like gone. We lost Paul again. So I think that I appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to try to get to because we're sitting at an hour. I want to try to get to the reactions. If we can get Paul to hold a connection, we may have to just can it. And get to the reactions later. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We got some great things coming up. We got some merch that we're going to be looking at dropping too. I hope Paul don't trip by me exposing that right now. But we got some Beyond the Hustle merch that we're looking to come out with, and that we're looking to drop. So y'all let us know what y'all want to see from it. So we got a lot of great things coming down the pipeline. Make sure you guys check us out on Spotify. Get with us on Spotify, man. Spotify's been growing. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and for following the show on there. Paul, I was just going to drop it down and we can get to these reactions. I don't want to keep having to
yes, sir.
hold that reaction. You want to try to do one with your connection? I was going to just
man.
end the pod.
Let's see what's going on, man. Yeah, the weather's gone crazy over here. Florida banned.
We give a woman the right
weather
to opt
modification and geoengineering and stuff like that, man. So
what?
hopefully, we're gonna see some good weather throughout the next couple of years with all that ban. But I'm surprised they even put it out there that type of technology even existed. Even though I knew about that for years. 20 some years ago.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's banned
People
in Florida.
tired. People are tired of the mask. And the system knows, bro. The system knows that people are tired of the mask. Dog, they're gonna give it to people, bro. I really do think that there's a lot of changes coming down the pipeline. Not that it's gonna be anything bad or detrimental, but just the fact that people are tired. People are waking up. I ain't gonna say people are waking up. They are up, bro. People are up. There we go. We lost them. That's it. We ain't gonna keep playing with it. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Get on over there to Spotify. Check us out on Spotify. Make sure you follow us there for everything that we got going on. Catch up on the episodes. Follow us on that. And stay tuned, because next week we're gonna have some dope stuff going on. We're gonna have a guest next week that we're gonna be talking to, and then we'll get to the reaction videos. We may react to them and record it and drop that. But appreciate you guys for watching Beyond the Hustle. Hit us up, get into the comment section, let us know what y'all want to see when it comes to the merch side. We're going to be dropping some stuff about that coming up here pretty soon. And we'll see you guys next week.